11th of September 2023. This is another what the fuck moment. My life is consumed by what the fuck moments lately. But the reality is that that's the truth. We are swamped with what the fuck moments. Over the weekend I published a Afrikaner Briekmerke about that accord and the fact that it is kept out of public sight for a long time. And I interviewed a guy that was part of that whole process, and he told me the story. And as I said in the Skidmarks, in that Briekmerke, he was there. It's not second-hand and third-hand information and WhatsApp messages and tweets and TikToks and shit like that. I spoke to the guy in person that was part of the process. Now I'm being accused of giving just one side. Now let's get something straight. I'm a commentator. I'm not part of the processes. I'm a guy that sees these things and talk about it. And I try my utmost best to make sure that the stuff that I publish on my channel is based on fact and it's not fake or bullshit. But now I'm accused of just bringing the one side. Now I've got one response to that. For 30 years, we've been given the other side. And now, I brought this side onto the table. And now they say, I'm not being fair because I only bring the one side. Let them go into public debates and debate this shit. Let them go and talk. The guy from Boer Media is willing to interview these people. They can state their cases. The fact of the matter is, it is not my responsibility to get both sides of the story. That's not what I'm doing. I tell the stories that I see and that I think is important for you to know. And that is what it is. So to accuse me of being one-sided, I think that's a little bit lame as far as I'm concerned. For 30 years, the other side had it all their way. But step away from that. Let me talk about my Skidmarks, the Briekmerke that I did about the cloud state. There again, there's a lot of stories and a lot of commentators that takes me on about it. And as I said to one of the guys that I communicate with regularly, a cloud state will not be an experiment. It's going to be a test. And let's see who supports the boervolk. My suggestion is that the cloud state must be an Afrikaner cloud state, and the way that these cloud-based things work. Look at Facebook, how many groups are there from all parts of life, all over. There's political groups, there's art groups, there's car groups, there's baking groups, there's braai groups. That is the nature of the beast. And all of those individual groups live in that environment without interfering with the others, unless they deliberately go over the fence. But that is how it works. And my view is, if we can put up a successful Afrikaner cloud state, and obviously the Boer tribe will be in there, and there will be other Afrikaner groups in there. Point number one, the numbers participating there will be a good indication of what are we actually dealing with. Point number 2, a cloud site gives you a perfect option for having a full government system in cyberspace. People will be able to vote over issues and things like that with no chance of vote rigging or anything, because if it is set up properly and it is contained on the blockchain, you as a member of that or a citizen of that cloud state will get a token in your personal wallet with which you can vote, and you can only vote one time and that's the end of it. And no vote counting, because the votes will be counted as they happen. So, again, it's not an experiment, it's a test. If only 20,000 people join the cloud state, then we know, obviously, before we even go any further, there's no chance of that cloud state ever becoming a real estate in the real world, because 20,000 people. I see Solidarity's got 212 followers on Facebook, things like that, which is small numbers. If you look at the estimates for the Afrikaner nation of about 3.5 million. So, I say again, and then there's people that they come and they immediately jump in with negatives about potential problems with the cloud state and technical challenges and all of that. That is not what I'm concerned with, because there are clever guys that can put the thing together properly. Another thing that has been talked about a lot is about Bitcoin. Now, the reality of Bitcoin is this, that in the average person's mind, they see Bitcoin as a cryptocurrency, and then they have had experiences or heard of experiences where people lost so many millions in crypto and all of that. As with everything in this world, there will always be scammers and chancers, and these crypto traders and crypto advisors and those guys, well, chancers. I've been buying crypto for a long time, and at a stage I did some day trading in crypto where I was playing with a lot of the coins, but the backbone of what I do in that space is I bought Bitcoin and Ethereum. That is it. All the other stuff that I dabbled in was speculation, and I made a lot of money and I've lost a lot of money, but that's what trading is. But for you, I started buying Bitcoin when it was, I think, about 30,000 Rand per Bitcoin. Today it's over 500,000 Rand. So those pieces of Bitcoins that I have has increased in value. I'm not going to tell you that Bitcoin is an investment and you must go flat out for that. It is a thing that over a term can give you a good return. If you go and look at the Bitcoin value performance over the last 5 years, you'll see there's lots of dips like this, but it's always going up. And I explained in the Skidmarks, the main reason for that is because Bitcoin is limited. There cannot be an unlimited number of Bitcoins. There's processes in the mining network that make new pieces of Bitcoin available, and then there is a final end cap where it cannot go beyond. Now, you've heard a lot about Bitcoin miners, and not many people really understand the miners. What the miners do is they verify transactions on the blockchain. So if I want to send 100 Rand to Joe, I send that 100 Rand to Joe. The network sends the transaction into the mining community. And then those miners must confirm that first I have that 100 Rand that I want to send, and second, that Joe's account actually exists. And they report back, and depending on the environment, some wants 3 confirmations, others want 6 confirmations, others want 9 confirmations. So that is what the miners do. They confirm the transactions. And these miners are spread all around the globe. So there's not a single company or a government or a body that can control it. You can have a miner sitting in your spare room there in the middle of the Karoo mining. And for every successful transaction that you resolve and report back on, you are paid in Bitcoin. So your miner does the verifications, and because you do the verifications, you are rewarded for the work that you do. And you must understand, if I send that 100 Rand to Joe, there is millions of miners around the globe that are looking for work. So when the controller sends that transaction out for authentication, thousands will be working on it. But only the first 3 or the first 6 that reports back, they will be rewarded. So it is a healthy, competitive environment that. So if you buy Bitcoin, if you want to buy Bitcoin for yourself, just to have some Bitcoin and share in the opportunity that it will increase in value, you buy your own Bitcoin from an exchange. In South Africa, we've got 2 exchanges. The one is Luno, and the one that I use is Altcoin Trader. I've been using Altcoin Trader for a hell of a long time. The beauty about Altcoin Trader is you pay cash in there, and then you buy Bitcoins and you sell and what. Your money, if you've got rands in your wallets there, you can put it in a savings wallet. You can put your Bitcoins in a savings wallet with them. And you are being paid interest daily on what you save there. So, no need for you to go to one of these scammers or one of these guys that contact you on WhatsApp or on Twitter or on Facebook and private messages and want to fucking sell you Bitcoins and shit like that. You go to Altcoin Trader and you buy your own Bitcoins. It is your money that you send from your bank account to them, and it is your account with Altcoin Trader, and you sit in that account and you buy your Bitcoin that you want to buy. That's it. No third party involved, no third party needed, nothing. The moment that they come and talk to you about all this bullshit and this and that, and we give you every day you're going to get this, or every week you're going to get, stay away from that crap. Just stay away from it. It's Ponzi schemes. 99.9% of it. And that is the truth about the crypto environment. The reason why I said in a cloud state, Bitcoin must be used as the trading currency is simply for the reason that, number one, Bitcoin is not in the clause of XXX. Not at all. Secondly, your Bitcoin transactions. If I buy a crate of bananas from a farmer and I pay him in Bitcoin, that transaction is invisible to SARS. Now there's people that say, yeah, I'm buying the Bitcoin 8 o'clock in the morning, I pay him X Bitcoin for the bananas, and by 12 o'clock there's a dip in the market and the value of what he got for his bananas is dropping. Yes, that is true. That's volatility. What the people do that use Bitcoin for commercial transactions is they do the transaction, and the moment that he has received payment for the box of bananas, he immediately sells it. And then there's rands in his wallet on the exchange and no longer Bitcoin. And he got the rands that he had to get for there. Other guys say, no. They're going to keep their Bitcoins, and if it goes up, good for them. If it goes down, tough luck. But they are willing to gamble with that. And if you're not pushed, your chances of really losing on Bitcoin is fairly slim. Because it may take a dip, but then in a day or 2 or 3 days time it picks up again and so forth. So it's up and down. So someone need to be fairly objective when you look at these things. So that was the only reason why I suggested that Bitcoin must be used there. First of all, it is out the clause of SARS, and secondly, nobody can regulate it. But obviously, in the trading environment in the cloud state, they will trade in rands as well. So it's not the trading currency, it's one of the trading currencies. So all I'm saying is, my suggestion with the cloud state is pure and simple. It is a test. Let's see if those millions of Afrikaners and Boere are actually serious about their sovereignty. That is all. As I say, if the cloud is launched and only 20,000 or 30,000 joins it, it tells you the much talked about homeland is exactly what it is, just a dream or a talking point. But if the cloud is launched and within a week or 2 weeks or a month, we're sitting with 3.5 million, 4 million people in that cloud, then we know, okay, people are serious. And as I said in one of the Briekmerke about it, if there's 1 million Boere in that cloud and they sign a petition, that's 1 million votes. Whoever the government is, I have better take note of it, because that's a lot of people. So be objective about these things. And all the things I tell you, listen and think. That's all. We have been conditioned to swallow whatever MSM is feeding us. And we know that MSM is 100% under control of XXX. So the narrative that is being fed to us is in line with their missions. And when people like me come and give you other options, to some it is a system shock. But once again, listen and think about it. I've done a Skidmark in which I said, people are no longer talking to one another. They like to tell you things. That's it. No talking, just telling. And that is sad. It's really sad. And on a lighter note, I've had it again on that's Briekmerke, 2 people that were not so impressed with my language. Well, I've got news for them. I'm not going to sit here and dish up well polished and well articulated and syntactically correct sentences of bullshit. I'm not going to do it. There's enough of that. And if my use of spices in my language offends you, I don't force you to listen to my stuff. You can walk away from it without I even being aware of it. The fact of the matter is, it's from all this smooth talking lies that we are where we are. Because people don't call a spade. I call a spade, and sometimes I call it a fucking bulldozer, because that's what it is. And it's up to you. I'm sorry if I offend you. Actually, I'm not sorry, because it's your choice to listen. I don't force you to listen to what I tell you or what I have to say. But we need to wake up and look around us. This political species is extremely dangerous to all of us, to everybody. And I will say it again, and you will hear me say it many times. The only people that has a chance of surviving is the people that are connected to their tribe. The tribes have the chance of surviving against this onslaught from XXX. Please give me a like and a subscribe and share the thing. Thank you for your support.